Hey everybody, welcome back to Digital Pizza. I'm Peter Rose, and today I'm going to talk about the all-important shop manuals, parts catalogs for the bike that you are restoring. And also I want to go over the CBX Head that I just got back from the machine shop and kind of unwrap that and go over it. By the way, somebody asked me on one of the comments where the name Digital Pizza came from, and it actually stems back to 1995. I was reading the newspaper, and I was reading about a website called Digital Banana, and I just thought that was very cool. And I love pizza, so I grabbed Digital Pizza. Back then, you had to have your own website if you wanted to post your own pictures for eBay. And so I started posting pictures on eBay of some of the bikes that I was working on. And all of a sudden, it kind of stuck. So everybody over the years knows me by that name. And that was 20 years ago. So it kind of stuck. So anyway, that's where the name came from. So anyway, as far as the shop manuals are concerned, I just think they're just extremely important. I mean, on my bench here, I've even got a thing here that I can have the shop manual on while I'm working on the bike. And this particular one is for a CBX. And I tell you what, I refer to these constantly. These are factory shop manuals. And pretty much they cover everything on the bike, including parts diagrams, loaded with pictures, on how to do certain things, just about everything about the bike. And these are what the mechanics used in the service department, still do to this day. And I know a lot of this is online, but I tell you what, there's nothing like when you're in the middle of working on a bike, you don't really want to go to your phone or to an iPad or whatever and look it up online. You just have it right here at your fingertips. And I've taken all the pages and I've put them in these protectors, so if you get any grease on it or whatever, you're not ruining the page. You can just wipe it right off. So I've kind of put these catalogs together for myself. And like I said, I use them constantly. Here's one for the 750. Same thing, picture after picture, technique after technique, everything. It's just they cover everything. Some of these manuals can cost quite a bit, like on eBay, but they're worth their weight in gold in my opinion. So, and then a little effort on putting them together in your own binder is well worth the effort. And then there are a lot of parts catalogs for each of the bikes. This particular one is for the CBX, and it's got all the part numbers, the microfiche diagrams with all the part numbers on there. And every time I do a job, I go through page by page and I write down the part numbers or whatever. I've actually got all those pretty much together now. And then I hand them over to the Honda dealer and I get what are still available. A lot of the nuts and bolts and everything are still available, which is kind of nice when you're doing a full restoration. Like a Concours type restoration, it's nice to have a lot of these brand new nuts and bolts and all that stuff. So that's on the CBX. And then I've also got one here on the 1100F in the original Honda binder. Again, same thing. Invaluable pictures. And I mean, there's carburetor synchronization. I mean, that's just information that is really useful. And it's written by the factory. So again, you can get a lot of this online, but when you're in the middle of working on it, it's handy to have it right there at your fingertips. Okay, so the CBX head. I just got it back from the machine shop, and I have not looked at it yet, and I'll unwrap it here. So all the valves have been reground and reconditioned, new valve seals. It's been cleaned up and ready to go. I think there's even a couple of new valves here. Maybe not. Anyway, like I said, they've all been reconditioned. Not sure if he surfaced the head or not. Sometimes it's good to do that. But anyway, it's just basically cleaned up. And what I'll do is I'll wire brush all of this aluminum to make it look like new again. And then when I put it back on the engine, when I paint the engine, I just kind of fog over with the silver to kind of brighten it up a little bit. I don't put it on heavy, and I use engine paint. Just regular engine paint from any of the paint manufacturers works great that you buy at the auto parts store. But it sure makes them look nice. Again, all the cam bearings are all nice and reconditioned, ready to put the cam in. And that's it. That's what the head looks like when it's all done and ready to go. Then you have to put the shim buckets in. These have not been cleaned up, but they just simply slide into place like that. Just like that, and you have your shim there, which is what adjusts your valves. Of course, now I can't get it out of there, but anyway, you get the picture. So anyway, that's the CBX head, and like I said, at some point, I'll go over how I clean this up and make it look really nice. And then I'll also go over installing the cam and the cam chains and how you line everything up and get the valve timing correct. So this week I'm going to be taking this frame to the powder coaters, and I will have a video on the powder coating company that I take it to, and hopefully they're going to let me show you the powder coating process and the big giant oven that they put them in after they've coated them so that it all looks beautiful like that. And also in my next video, I'm probably going to go over the VIN tag, the installation of it. Like this frame right here, this is the VIN tag for this frame here. So I've got the tag there, and I've got, I'm going to go over the little brads that hold it in place. They're actually not riveted on. They're actually held in with little brads, like they're small little tiny nails, so to speak. And I don't know if I have, oh yeah, I've got them in here. So I mean, it's basically just a tiny little nail that's knurled. It's got a knurled edge on it. And I've actually got brand new ones. That's all they are. And they just go through the holes there and hold that VIN tag in. It's very easy process of installing and taking this out, but you know, it's a little tricky and you have to be very, very patient. because these VIN tags are so thin and so brittle, and they have a little bit of glue on the back, so you kind of have to use a really thin razor blade. You almost have to bend the razor blade, and it's kind of a process, but if you're careful, you can do it without ripping the holes. As you can see, I was pretty successful at getting these off without messing up the holes. So anyway, on the next video, I'm probably gonna show you how this VIN tag goes back on the neck, and that'll be helpful. The CBX is pretty easy because inside the neck you can actually see the back side of the little brad sticking out of the holes, and all you have to do is get some kind of a tool in here and knock them out, or push them out to the point where you can grab a hold of them with your fingernails and just pull them right out of there. Pretty easy on CBXs and the F bikes, 1100F, 900F, so on. They're pretty easy to get out of there. But unfortunately, on the 750, it's a much more difficult process because, see, there's the hole right there for, you can see the holes right there for the brads. They use this exact same brads on this as they do on the CBX. But the problem is on the 750, they have a double wall construction inside there. So you cannot access the backside of the brad like you can on the CBX. So this is a double wall construction on the neck. So basically what you have to do, you have to get a, and I'll show you on another frame, but what I do is I get a razor blade and I just stick it behind the brad and I work it all the way around, and I try to work it out until it gets out to the point where you can grab it with a pair of pliers or whatever and pull it out of there. And again, they have, I found a place in Europe that sells brand new brads. So I'll give you the link on that when we go over the VIN tags. So anyway, that'll be on the next video here in the next couple of days, so watch out for that. Another thing that I'm going to be going over during this restoration is the wire harness, okay? My philosophy is that I will not restore a bike, a ground-up frame-off restoration, without putting a brand new wire harness on the bike. You get the frames looking like this, where they're literally like factory new, and you put an old, crusty, ugly wire harness on it, it just, they don't match. They just don't fit. In my opinion, a brand new wire harness looks fantastic on a nice brand new frame. That's just me. So some of the wire harnesses are still available. The CBX wire harness was available until just recently, a couple years ago, but now there's reproduction wire harnesses that are pretty damn close. And I believe this is a reproduction one right here, but it is identical to the one from the factory. The only problem is that some of the other harnesses that go on the bike, such as the alternator harness and a couple other harnesses like to the coils and stuff like that, if you make the main harness NOS then or brand new, you really need to have brand new ones of those too, because when they connect together under the side cover, you really want all of these connector heads to match as far as the color is concerned. This is what I'm talking about here. This is my CBX that's already restored that I showed you earlier. And as you can see, all the wire harness connections and everything match as far as their color is concerned, because I replaced everything, all the harnesses, with new ones. So these are a little bit on the dirty side because this bike has been sitting for a few months and I haven't really cleaned it. So, but you can get what I'm talking about. All the colors matched. So, you know, you want this red to match this red back here. If you don't, this red may be all old and faded, and then you have a brand new one connecting to it, and it just doesn't look good. Especially the whites, you know, the white's always yellow. Like this one right here is even yellowing now, because this bike was restored probably 2 or 3 years ago. So anyway, you get the picture on that. Here's another example of what I'm talking about. This right here is my 1969 750 that I'm going to be restoring. And there is the alternator harness. So let's say you have a brand new NOS harness, which I do for this bike. And then I go and I connect this up to it. You tell me what it would look like. So anyway, you get the picture. So anyway, that's it for this video, and I will have another one for you here in a couple of days, talking about the VIN tags and so on. So please leave comments, and please subscribe. And also, one thing I forgot to mention before, if you hit the bell at the top of the page, you will get email notifications when I've posted more videos. So if you want to be notified about that, just hit the bell up there at the top right-hand corner, I believe, of the page. So I really appreciate it. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.